Hello, fictional. Welcome to the What If Issei. Today we are gonna see, what if Issei was the red and white dragon emperor and got Harem Sona Serafall. Part 4. If you end up liking this video, please consider subscribe, so without further ado, let's get into the video. After they saw two of Riser's pawn were defeated by Issei. Wow, this is unexpected. Reaction and the others beat them at the same time. Yes, not only that, Issei-kun caught the pawns off guard and then defeats them 6 pawns left until he can help Leviathan's queen and her bishop. Why him, Sir Zetchen? Since Riashin and the others are done dealing the rest of them. Well, Serafall, I have a hunch that he would do something interesting. Ooh, that's I want to see, Serafall said gleefully. Then they see Issei reverted back to his Cow Academy uniform. Yeah, why he reverted back? Serafall pouted. Sir Zetchen rubs his chin. I don't know why he reverts back, Serafall. Then they listen on Issei conversation to Burant. Well, the testing phase of this artificial sacred I made is a success, so I decided to use it in the next future battle if necessary. So are you going to fight us in your state? Oh, that not yet until I use this. The Mayu saw on what Issei hold is a gun holder. The gun holder? How's he going to fight them with that? Serafall was curious how Issei is going to fight them with a gun holder. I don't know about that, Serafall. Let's see what's he going to do next. Who said this is a gun holder? Look behind you, ladies. The Mayu saw a mechanic dragonfly came to. Then the next thing they see. That mechanical dragonfly attached to the gun holder. Wait a minute, Serafall recognized the item when it's attached, then she remembers, oh my, Issei-chan is holding the Drake grip. Drake grip? Is that a henshin device from Kamen Rider Hyoudou? Sir Zetchen asked. Serafall nods. Yes, Sir Zetchen, it is. So that means that's his artificial sacred gear. Henshin. Then the next thing they saw, Issei transformed into Kamen Rider Drake masked form. Meanwhile at Harem Sona and her peerage room. Everyone was surprised when Issei transformed into Kamen Rider Drake masked form. I can't believe that Issei did it again, but this time he turned into a Kamen Rider. Aika said. Not only that, it seems he's on masked form, right, Aika-san? Yura asked. Yes, Yura-san, that is the masked form. So I won't be surprised if he can remove those medals by using cast off. Oh, I see. Sona is awfully quiet after she saw Issei's transformation and she's trying to resist her fangirl antics about Kamen Rider. Yet Tsubaki notice of Sona suddenly quiet after Issei transformed into Kamen Rider Drake. Haichu, are you alright? Yes. I'm alright, Tsubaki. Sona said. Well, her thought says that was a close one. After Issei introduced his artificial sacred gear, he decided to remove his heavy armor. Cast off. The armor metal pieces scatter after he said cast off. After the metal pieces were sent away. Change dragonfly. They saw Issei change form into Drake Rider form, yet in that form it was sleeker, faster and most offensive of his form, and it resembles of a dragonfly. I feel sorry for those pawns when Ice used that form. Sona said. Why, Kaichu, do you know how's that form do? Momo asked. Well, if my memory serves right, on that form, he would be faster and the same time stronger on that form, and his shooting rate will be faster than his masked form, since the masked form has less mobility and less offensive yet compensate with high defense. Oh, I see. Haichu. I'm quite surprised that you know the details on those forms. Aika said. Well, it's easy to describe a Kiryu, since when Ice decided to use cast off, I guess he wants to end it quickly. I see. But still, honestly, Kaichu, we don't mind that you're into Kamen Rider since Fuku Kaichu is into Super Sentai. Sona was surprised that Aika knew about her interest on Kamen Rider. How did you know? Aika grinned. I have my own ways, Kaichu. Well, her thought says, well, I just snuck in your room and I found very interesting at your closet that filled with Kamen Rider merchandise you possessed. You're really surprising me, Kaichu. Sona sighed. I see, I guess it can't be helped. I'm into Kamen Rider if you have a problem with that. The girls were surprised that their king was into Kamen Rider. Kaichu is into Kamen Rider? Yura said. I didn't expect on that Kaichu was into that. Tsubaki said. Well, that was surprising, Rya said. Indeed, since each of has its own personal taste in our group after all, Momo said. Then they back watching the fight. Issei is avoiding the pawns' attacks and retaliated by shooting them a few minutes later. Let's get this to the next level. Kaichu, do you know what he's going to do? Aika asked. I know what Ice is going to do. Kiryu, clock up. Sona smiled. Clock up. Then the moment they heard clock up a few seconds later. Clock over. After that they heard a scream from Riser's pawns, then the next thing they saw is an explosion. After that a sudden announcement from Grafia. Riser-sama 2 pawns is retired from the game. The girls except for Sona were surprised on the sudden announcement. What in the world just happened? Zenobia said. I don't know, it just happened too fast, Momo said. After we hear that clock up, then the next thing we heard is clock over then. The next thing happened we hear is their scream, then a sudden explosion, and lastly an announcement that they were defeated. What the hell, just Issei-kun, Yura said. Aichu, care to explain to them how is that happen? Aika grinned. Sona took a glance at Aika. Why me, Kiryu? Well, you know that ability what Issei used to defeat those pawns, right? Sona nods. Yes, I know why. Since you're the only one here knows that ability what Issei used to them. Aside from that, I want to know how far you know about Kamen Riders. Aika smirked. So, in other words, you want to know how far I know about Kamen Riders? Aika nods. Yep. Sona sighed. Fine. Clock up is granted the user to move faster than the speed of light in a short period of time. Honestly, I don't want to be exaggerated on that word, but that's the closest thing I can say for that. The girls understand her explanation. But those explosions we saw, is that part of the clock up, right? Momo asked. No, it's not a part of the clock up he used. Then what did it do? Ria asked. Rider shooting. Rider shooting? Zenobia said. Yes, Ice use rider shooting as a concentrated shot, and he uses it 3 times on the pawns during the clock up. Tsubaki was surprised that when Sona says Ice fires 3 times. Kaichu, how can you be so sure that Hyoudou-kun uses it 3 times? Well, I believe Ice tries to imitate Drake's special attack on the game called Kamen Rider Super Climax Heroes, yet the difference is he has 2 enemies to finish them off. Oh, you mean the clock up plus rider shooting combo, Kaichu, Aika said. Yes, Kiryu Ice fires one of them each, then the third one he fires it between them. Wow, I never thought it was possible to do that, but how that Issei manages to recreate the clock up system, since that system is insane to be made. I agree with you, Kiryu. I wonder how Ice managed such a complicated system he made. Yeah, we never knew he's such a genius on making those stuff aside from fighting. Sona smiled. Indeed, no wonder why I fall for him. Sona cheeks went red. Well, we know that you loved him, Kaichu. Aika smirked. Shut up. If you fu, I wonder, Kaichu, have you approved Issei to have a harem? Aika said. The girls were curious if Sona approved to let Issei have a harem. I'm curious too, do you approve it, Kaichu? Ria said. Yeah, since Issei-kun dreams to be the harem king, Momo said. Indeed, I want to know if I get a chance to make children for him, Zenobia said. Sona sighed. Yes. At first I strongly disagree on this matter, even though harem is allowed on our culture and underworld, and Ice managed to convince me, so I approved it. Momo and Zenobia was pleased about this news. Great, that means I can show my feeling to Issei-kun. Momo said gleefully. Yay, that means I can make babies to him. Zenobia said. That's the thing I can't allow, Zenobia, Sona said in serious tone. Why? I thought you approve it. Yes, I approve it, but doesn't mean I will allow you to do sexual acts with my Ice. Aika raised her eyebrow. What's this, my Ice? Giggles, you're surprising me, Kaichu. Well, is not that bad, since Issei calls you my Sona not so long ago. Sona cheeks went red. Shut up, Kiryu. I wonder why you wouldn't allow Zenobia-san to ravage him. Oh wait. I almost forgot that Issei is a virgin after all, Aika smirked. The girls were surprised that Issei is still a virgin. Really, Aika-san? Momo asked. Is that true, Aika-san? Yura said. You're lying. I'm sure that Ice could has touched my counterpart before he comes here. Sona said. Oh? Did you ever ask him if he's done it with your counterpart? Sona shook her head. No, I haven't. I see, you better believe me, Kaichu, because I asked him a question when he introduced himself to our class, and he said he's still a virgin. And you believe what he said? Yes, Kaichu Issei may good at lying, but when it comes to that subject, that's a thing he can't lie about. I see. I guess you speaking based on experience, right, Kiryu? Aika frowned. That's not funny, Kaichu. I'm still pure as the rest of us here. The IP Mayu's room. The Mayus were surprised of sudden defeat of riser pawns, and then a sudden announcement from Grafia. I wonder how did he manage to succeed that complicated system he made. Surziches said. I can't believe that Soten's pawn made tokusatsu items turned into artificial sacred gear for his personal use, and he succeeds making the clock up system, since there's no detailed explanation how they made it work, and we only know what the ability could do. Indeed, I never expect that your little sister pawn is a genius. Aside from that, I wonder if your little sister challenges him in a chess match. He may be smart, Surzetchen, but you know Soten is unbeatable when it comes to chess, since my former clan is specialized to strategy. I know that Serafall, your former clan, is specialized to strategy, but on this raiding game we saw right now he took the king's role, while Ryotan acts like a second bishop, since you know that our other bishop is sealed. I know that Surzetchen, but still there's no way that he could beat Soten in a chess match. But still, what if he beat her in a chess match? Are you going to accept him? Well, if only Soten is happy with him, then I accept that. If he makes her cry, then I'm going to freeze him, then smash him into pieces. Serafall said in a serious tone. Well, don't be surprised if he ever confesses that he beat her in chess. Serafall sighed. I know I must prepare for the worst. Aside from that, I'm sure he's going to have a harem like the rest. Of course we need to increase our numbers, yet in my case I can't do anymore since after I took the Lucifer title, I can't have a harem. I know that's Serzetchen. But in your case Serafall, you can still become a wife of any high-class devils, yet not the main wife thou. I know that, but most of the men on the underworld is full power hungry bastards. Well, there's a person I can recommend you, and I'm sure he won't be those fools. Oh really? Who is that person? Well, him Serzetchen points at Issei. Serafall look at Serzetchen pointing at you, can't be serious Serzetchen. Him? Sotan's pawn. Are you serious about this? Yes, if your little sister married to him I'm sure she doesn't mind that since your little sister will be taking the main wife role. Yeah, do you think Sotan will accept that? Well, I'm sure that she's against it first, but later on she will understand it since, in order to increase our numbers, and I'm sure she doesn't mind if you were added to his harem. Yeah, right, as if that happened Serzetchen. I am laughing at you Serafall if he really beat your little sister in chess match under your noses. VIP Harem Sona and her peerage room. They back viewing the battle until they see Issei revert back to Kuo Academy uniform again, and he said. Since the testing phase is finished you can fight me in my normal state as if you can beat me. The girls were surprised when I said those artificial sacred gear. Would he just use those for testing? Tsubaki said. Why I'm not surprised on this, Aika said. Indeed, but after this rating game I'm sure that he would use the rest in the future, Sona said. Okay, let's get to business. Trace on. They saw Issei summons a sword. Haichu, is that one of his special skills before he awakes his sacred gears, right? Aika asked. Yes Kiryu, that's his one of I's special ability called projection, is a magecraft that materializes objects in accordance to the caster's imagination through the use of magical energy. Wow, does that mean Issei was a magician? No, he thinks he already possessed that ability before, that's what he said. I see. You said he can summon it based on his imagination, right? Yes, and he said to me that his projection is unique too, he can make a holy and demonic version of the weapon he summons. I see. Aika is somehow satisfied on Sona's reply. Then the girls saw Iser's pawns pull out their chainsaw and said. It's assembling time. The girls, except for Sona, Tsubaki, and Zenobia, have shivered about the twins' reactions. Okay, now I'm scared if I ever face those girls, Aika said. Momo, Ria, and Yura were nodded. But it seems Issei knows how to deal them, Zenobia said. Indeed, how he manages to stay calm when those chainsaws are almost hitting him. Ria said. Ice have experienced life and death situations on his previous world before he came here, Sona said. And he survived most of it. Zenobia said. Indeed, at this kind of battle this is nothing for him to fear, Tsubaki said. Until Issei parried the attack, then he counterattacked with Tempest Gambit. Wow, Issei parried the attack and then counter, Aika said. Yay, but he's still holding back on this case, right? Momo said. Yay, since based on his look he's taking easy on them. Indeed. Until Issei decided to finish them off. Time to end both of you and I make an irony on this matter. The girls are confused when Issei said he make an irony of it. Aika realized what Issei thinking, who I think I know what he's going to do. The girls looked at Aika then. Would you mind to tell us, Kiryusan? Tsubaki asked. Their enemy is a phoenix, right? Yes, what about it? You see, Aika smirked. Pedakaki Guren no Hanuyo. Motsukus. O noble conflagration, incinerate all. They see Issei leaps into the air, wreathed in flame, carrying any nearby enemies with him. He then streaks toward the ground, again carrying them with him. A phonic glyph of flame appears underneath him when he said. Raising Phoenix. Then Issei leaps again into the air, but this time it's surrounded by fiery energy in the shape of a phoenix, hitting the twins repeatedly. The twin was burned during their attack before they reached the ground, they starting to vanish. Then an announcement was heard from Grafia. Bersersama 2 pawns is retired from the game. The girls were surprised what they saw. I see Ice's mystic art he uses is a fire-based strike art, Sona said. And it was called Raising Phoenix, he sure makes an irony of it, Aika said. Because of this Hyoudou-kun is certainly made an enemy of the entire Phoenix clan. Indeed. The IPR Mayu's room. The Mayus was surprised when Issei he summons a weapon and he told what his ability called. Serzetchen, is that a magecraft called projection? Serafall asked. Serzetchen nods, yes Serafall it is. I wonder how did he manage to learn the projection, since no one is capable to use that kind of magic again after the Great War, since that magecraft is a superior version of sword birth and sacred blacksmith. You mean his magecraft can make better weapons than those 2 sacred gears you mentioned? Yes, but I wonder who teach him to use that ability since there are no magus left on this world. I see. Whom do you think is he's a descendant of a Welknan magus bloodline? I don't think so, Serafall, since after the war the entire magus faction were wiped out during the war, so it's impossible they would have a descendant. I see, that means Sotan's pawn is a mysterious person who the rare magecraft called projection. Indeed, well, we can ask him about that after the match. I'm sure he wouldn't mind telling us of his origin. Yeah, I guess so, we can ask him after the rating game. They go back viewing the fight until he parries the twins' attack, then attacks it with Tempest Gambit after he uses that skill. Time to end, both of you and I make an irony on this matter. Make an irony of it? And how Issei is going to do that? Serafall was curious. I bet he will use a skill related to the Phoenix clan. That's I want to see. Serafall said happily. Then they saw Issei use an unknown ability, Mystic Art to defeat Riser's pawn. Pedakaki Guren no Hanuyo. Motsukus. O noble conflagration, incinerate all. They saw Issei leaps into the air, wreathed in flame, carrying any nearby enemies with him. He then streaks toward the ground, again carrying them with him. A phonic glyph of flame appears underneath him when he said, "Raising Phoenix." Then see Issei leaps again into the air, but this time it's surrounded by fiery energy in the shape of a phoenix, hitting the twins repeatedly. The twins were burned during their attack before they reached the ground, they starting to vanish. Riser-sama 2 pawns is retired from the game. The Mayus were surprised by the unknown ability he used. Just I suspected he teach my little sister's rook about those strange abilities he used. But I wonder what is that strange glyph we saw beneath him. Yes, I'm very curious about that too, aside from that he makes a huge insult to the Phoenix clan for what he did. Yes, since he said he make an irony of it. Indeed, I'm sure that Lord Phoenix is utterly pissed on this matter. VIP Harem Sona and her peerage room. I wonder what he's going to do on the last 2 pawns. Yura said. I think he going to use a Fauna card against them. Rhea said. We will find out what Issei is going to do with them, Ika said. Until Issei declared he's going to use one of his ultimate spells. I see he decided to finish this quick via Mysticard. Zenobia said. I wonder what Mysticard is he going to use. Momo is curious. He might use Big Bang again, Tsubaki said. I doubt Ice will use that one again, I guess he will use one of his powerful Mysticard, we didn't see it before. Sona said. Then they saw. Issei weaves the air to create several rings around him and generates a small sphere from his hand. The sphere then expands, capturing the maids caught in the range. When the cage is minimized, then he chants. It's over. Your fate is sealed. I shall defeat you in the name of my beloved master Sona Sitri. Mystic Cage. Issei closes his hand and crushes the cage, dealing severe damage to the maid. Before the maids hits the ground, they starting to vanish, then Grafia said an announcement. Riser-sama 2 pawns is retired from the game. After that, there's another announcement came from Grafia. Issei Hyoudou, I would remind you to stop on your love talk at your king during this match, even it's a part of the chant of your spell, that is all. The girls were amazed on Issei's mystic art, yet after that announcement, Sona was embarrassed because of the chant he used. Ice. You idiot. Sona muttered. Wow, I never thought Hyoudou-kun would use his so-called 4th strongest spells on this rating game, Tsubaki said. Indeed, aside from that, it seems he openly admits his love to Yukaichu. Ika said, teasing tone. Yeah, he used that spell especially for Yukaichu, Rhea said. Indeed, Ice really likes Yukaichu, Zenobia said. Shut up. Sona was blushing. Because of that, I'm sure your Onasama will be mad at him, Ika said. If that happens, I will never forgive her if she hurts him. Sona said in a serious tone. I see Kaichu will protect his future husband from harm. If Issei hears this, I'm sure he will love you more often than the rest of his future harem, Ika said. Hut it out, Kiryu. Sona cheeks went red. Well, we don't mind as long we can bear his children, right, Momo? Zenobia said. Momo nods yay, but I'm sure that Issei-kun will manage his harem well. VIP Harem Mayu's room. Riser-sama 2 pawns is retired from the game. The Mayus were surprised of Issei's Mysticard, and Surziches realized what magic he used. I see why I didn't realize this earlier when my little sister uses that magic. What magic she used, Surzetchen? It seems your little sister pawn is capable to use the forgotten lost magic Fauna card, but on what we see right now he using a Mysticard. Soten pawn is capable to use Fauna card. Serafall was surprised because Issei is able to use Fauna card. Yes, Serafall, I wonder where did he learn those, since all the books about Fauna card were burned or destroyed, since they received the same fate of the Magus during the Great War. Does that mean he's a descendant of a Welkman bloodline like Curtis? Who capable to use Fauna card? Serafall asked. I highly doubt he's from Welkman family, Serafall. You mean he just an ordinary person is capable to use Fauna card and Magecraft? I think so, since he manages to teach Riot and your little sister about Fauna card, but I highly doubt about the Magecraft, since that one is very complicated to be learned by a devil. I see. Then another announcement came from Grafia. Issei Hyoudou, I would remind you to stop on your love talk at your king during this match, even it's a part of the chant of your spell, that is all. Yeah, aside from that, he's need some explanation about that chant he used. Serafall yelled. Oh, you mean that in the name of my beloved master Sona Sitri part? Serzicha said at amused tone. Yes, that. I am going to freeze him then smash him into pieces after this raiding game. You know Serafall, your little sister will never forgive you if you harm him. I'm sure you don't want that happen. Serafall has shivered in fear when she thinks about Sona will ignore her for the rest of her life if she harmed her pawn. Moo. You're right, if Serzetchen Soten will never forgive me if I harm her precious pawn. Then she contacts Issei via transmitter after that. Back to Issei and the Queen's location. Tennis court. Current time. Hey, Akena-san need a help. The Queens were surprised of sudden appearance of Issei. Oh, Issei-kun, you hear, Akeno said. Yeah, anyway, I'm impressed that you managed to keep her that long, Akena-san. Well, thank you, Issei-kun. It seems our training camp did the trick after all, since my durability went better aside from teaching me on the fauna card. Akeno smiled. I know that, Akena-san. Anyway, are alright. Since you faced the pawns all by yourself at our base. Akeno said with concern. Yeah, I'm alright, Akena-san, those pawns are nothing me, they ain't even worthy of my 5% of my power. Issei smirked. Ubaluna is annoyed when Issei brags about his power. Beggin. Ubaluna cast her magic on Issei. Then a sudden explosion, the entire tennis court is turned into a giant crater and it was covered by smoke due to her magic. That should do it. Ubaluna was waiting for the announcement of Issei's defeat, but it didn't come. Sorry, Bomb Queen, that magic is not enough to beat me. Issei is still standing in the middle of the crater that Ubaluna surprised. How did you manage to survive my explosions? Simple, I just have a high magic defense, that's all. You bastard. Ubaluna growled. Issei looked at Akeno. Akena-san, let me deal with her, Issei said in a serious tone. Okay, Issei-kun, tell me, what are you to do with her? Akeno asked. Simple, defeat her with magic. Okay, then she's all yours, Issei-kun. Akeno flies away a distance from Issei and Ubaluna. Well then it's just two of us, no, then use everything you got, Bomb Queen Ubaluna-san, and I tell you what, I will not dodge whatever you throw at me, so consider it as your advantage, Issei smirked. You will regret this. Ubaluna growled. Anyway, need to change my costume a bit. Issei uses his magic, changed his costume to warlock costume, the appearance base on Ragnarok Online, but on his back, it has a Sitri clan symbol on his back of his costume. Well, this suit will fit nicely for a spellcaster. Ubaluna is somehow amazed of his current costume. He wears impressive costume you have there, but do you think that changing your costume would change everything? Napa, since I just wanted to change my appearance, that's is all. Very well then. Let's begin. Ubaluna starts casting her magic. Issei began chanting his spell. During his chant he was hit by Ubaluna magic, but it didn't interrupt him when he said on his chant. Shinsenaru Hikari yo Tsudo, Kono na wo machite waga adanasu tiki wo yud. Assemble blessed light, and in this name lay waste to our foes. Divine Saber. Issei creates a 6-pointed glyph that calls several holy lightning strikes at each corner, before summoning a massive holy lightning in the center of the pattern. But Ubaluna managed to avoid the holy lightning before it struck on her. Ubaluna was surprised. She felt that the thunder that almost struck her is mixed with holy. What the hell? How could you use that holy magic? Are you a fallen angel before you came a devil? No, I ain't a fallen angel, Bomb Queenson, I'm a human before I become a devil. Then explain, what spell did you used? I'm sure you heard about the forgotten lost magic called Faunacard, right? Yes, I heard about. So Ubaluna realized what he said. You can't be serious, you're a phonist. Yes, I'm a phonist, and I learned everything from this book about Faunacard. Issei pulls out his dimensional bag and he grabs a book about Faunacard. Ubaluna is surprised when she saw the book on Issei's hand. How did you manage to get that book? Well, that is something I can't tell you. After all, this book is really useful to me, since I teach a few things on my master Sona, our Queen Tsubaki-san, then our bishops Ryasan and Momochan, and from outside of my master's peerages Rias, Akena-san and Asia about Faunacard. Well, Issei won't tell that the book is one of his personal belongings from his old world. Ubaluna was surprised when Issei told her that he teach them about Faunacard. What, you teach them how to use those spells? Issei nods. Yeah, I'm surprised that they managed to reach the high-level Faunacard within 6 days during our training. Well, they have the talent to use Faunacard after all, yet the more surprising is my master Sona Sitri was able to use it in 5 days. I see. When then I shall defeat you will grab that book about Faunacards. Yeah, right, as if you can beat me. Issei start to chant a spell again. Then Ubaluna use her fire magic against him, but it didn't hurt him due to his high magic defense. Aoki Anachi wo Tateshi Haheo, Hayden Shai Seirat Scenario Ubigo wo I. O mother praised for her indigo life, break apart and raise thy clear new voice. Aqualaser. Issei finished his chant. Issei summoned 6 glyphs that surround Ubaluna. What the? Then the glyph fires a concentrated water blast on Ubaluna, took a hit of it. Damn it, I never thought that you would hurt me this much. Ubaluna pulls out the phoenix tears from her breast. Whoa, I never expect you would hide that tears in your breast, Issei said in an amused tone. But too bad, I will take that from you, steal. Issei used steal, its ability to steal the item that is most treasured by the target, and he succeeds. He managed to stole Phoenix tears from Hyoudou. Alright, I got the tears. Issei said in amused tone. What the? How did you manage to steal it from that distance? Hyoudou was surprised that the Phoenix tears was stolen Issei from a distance. Well, I just used steal on you, it's an ability to steal the most treasured of my target. So the most precious thing you have is the tears, Issei said. Well, his other thought says, oh thank Mau that I stole the right item this time. If I didn't, I will be labeled as pervert again like last time in my old world. Issei remembers one of the most embarrassing moment on his previous world, that he accidentally stole Hyoudou underwear, her panty, at the middle of their duel, then he beat her by a dragon shot that got her off guard during the commotion. Before he faces Riser, well, it was worth it. I'm not done yet. Issei get his focus back and starts chanting again. The Hibukaki Hire night, Suretsu Neroi 9 Emir. Slumber in this horrid sepulchre of merciful ice. Frigid coffin. Issei finished his chant. Hyoudou couldn't move due to the damage he takes from a qualaser, and the tears was stolen. When the spell has released, the icicles to form surrounds her, then trapping her within the range. Afterward, a large ice shard appears in the sky. No, I won't be defeated by these petty magic of yours. Hyoudou growled, then she creates a barrier to protect herself since she can't move due to the icicles is blocking her path. Issei sighed, petty magic. I guess you have a bad experience with ice and water users. Well, it sucks to be you, since this spell is one my favorite, and I'm sure either Griffiason and Saracen would like to learn this spell, since they are both ice users after all. And then the ice shard launches itself and aimed at Hyoudou. When its collided, her barrier shatters, then the ice shards fell and injuring her in the process. Ugh, damn it. Hyoudou growled, then she uses her fire magic at Issei again, yet the same thing happens, it didn't harm him. Well, I guess I should end this with my Mystic card. Issei decided to finish her off with a Mystic card. Hyoudou was surprised when she heard she will end her with Mystic card. What, you also learned the Mystic card? Issei nods yes, as a matter of fact I have 10 Mystic Arts base, all of them base Fauna card, since I used one of them against the maids. Not only that, I many Mystic Art base on Strike and Arcane Art, and I also use it on the green-haired twins with an irony. Hyoudou was shocked when he said he used his Mystic card the pawns. Don't tell me, are you going to use a Mystic card on me? Hyoudou is trying to move, but she's hurt due to frigid coffin. Oh yes, I am Hyoudou and I will use holy based Mystic card on you, so don't worry, I make this quick and a bit painless. Then the skies went dark, then Hyoudou saw Issei rising up against a dark background, the scenery changed, appears to be stainedless windows, shining with bright light. When Issei reached the top. Divine judgment for an evil soul, sacred penance. Issei finished the chant, then he releases a large burst of light in the shape of a cross on his surroundings. Hyoudou screams in pain after that, she's starting to disappear. Then an announcement came from Grafia. Ursursama Queen is retired from the game. 3 Mystic Art were used today, and 2 of them were my ultimate spells. Oh well, I still have a lot of energy to beat that chicken. Issei was about to move, then he suddenly kneeled down and felt the pain due to Hyoudou attacks he received and the recent Mystic Art he used. Since he's a devil, of course, he would take a damage from the Mystic Art due to the holy element he used. Crap, talk about the taking those blasts like nothing happened, and use that Mystic Art is a bad to mix. Issei sighed, oh well, good thing I have my healing spell. Issei starts to chant a spell. Daichi no Mamori yo, Satsum. Oh great land, swathe us in your protection. Restore. After Issei finishes chant, he was covered by green light when the light dies out. Ah, good as new. Issei was completely healed. Isakun, I never expect you hid something, a very powerful spell from us, especially that so-called Mystic Art you use against her. Akeno appears in the sky since was watching from a distance, so she saw the entire battle until Hyoudou was defeated. I see you saw everything, Akeno, about that. I decided that not to teach you and Rias about Mystic Art yet, since it's not easy as you ever think, since it's a phonic based. I see, does that mean you will teach us in the future? Yes, when this raiding game is over. Okay, we better assist Rias before. Akeno was interrupted when she hears announcement came from Grafia. Ryasama Knight and Rook is retired from the game. Issei and Akeno were surprised by the sudden announcement. Issei scratches head, what the in a world of Rias thinking. She thinks that she can beat the chicken with a phonic card. Said angrily. I guess so, we better assist them right away, Isakun. Akeno suggested. I know that Akeno grab Asia and I will take care of the chicken. Akeno nodded, then she flies towards to Asia. Issei dashed towards to the new building and face Riser Phoenix right away. At the new school building, rooftop. Earlier. Before Riser defeats Kaneko and Kiba and the announcement of Hyoudou defeat. Kiba, Kaneko stall him while casting Rias said. Kiba and Kaneko nodded yes, but you. Ria starts concentrate to chant her spell, while Kiba and Kaneko are attacking Riser. Begging you, lowly devils. Riser use his flames to burn the Knight and Rook of Gremory. Kiba and Kaneko barely avoid his phoenix flames. Bakiadeo, Yami no Kaina come and gush forth, arms of darkness. Negative gate. Ria's finished her chant. Ria's creates a sphere of dark energy that damages on nearby surrounding. Riser managed to avoid her fauna card. I'm impressed you managed to learn that fauna card Ria's, but it's not enough to beat me since I'm invincible. Riser said arrogantly. Damn it, why I couldn't hit him. Ria's was frustrated that she can't land a hit on Riser. Then they heard an announcement. Berser-sama queen is retired from the game. Riser was surprised that someone beat her queen while Ria's and the others were happy about the announcement. It seems my queen just beat no well, even though you beat all of them you're still no match for Riser. Riser use his flames again, this time he uses more power than the time he used. Kiba and Kaneko they couldn't avoid it this time. The Knight and the Rook were screamed in pain, then they starting to vanish. Then an announcement came from Grafia. Ria-sama Knight and Rook is retired from the game. Now. Ria's was surprised that her Knight and Rook were defeated. While Yui and Meguri came too late since they took a break for a while after they fought their enemies. Damn it, we're too late. Meguri said. Yeah, this is bad since Issei-kun isn't here yet, Yui said. Now I know why Kaichu is insisting me about the strategy. I guess that attacking Hyoudou without a plan could lead us to defeat, Meguri said. For once I'm going to agree with you, Meguri-san, Yui said. Riser is pissed that he has been ignored by them. Don't ignore me. Riser use his flames again to attack Yui and Meguri. Yus and Meguri noticed that Riser is aiming at them. What is it, Meguri-san? Dodge. Meguri yelled when she saw the flames were coming at them. Meguri and Yui dodged the Riser's flame and it was close one. Damn, we almost got roasted. Yui said. Yeah, if we get hit we will be ended up like him. Meguri points at Riser. Yui chuckled, indeed like a roasted chicken. Meguri giggled, yeah, a roasted chicken. Riser was fuming in rage after Yui and Meguri calling him roasted chicken. How dare you mock me, filthy low class. Riser said in an angered tone. Then suddenly Riser was about to shoot his flames at Yui and Meguri again, but he heard chanting a spell from above. Purisa Sogu Hikari no Kesu rain down, oh crystals of light. Cluster raid. After the chant is finished a crystal orb appears above Riser, then the shooting crystals into the ground within a modest area. When all the crystals are on the ground, they explode. Unfortunately Riser managed to avoid that attack before it connects. Damn, it seems I didn't the chicken. Riser recognized the voice, and it was Issei. Issei-kun. Ria's, Meguri, and Yui said in unison. Issei looks at Ria's, we almost lost this raiding game for taking that chicken head on without thinking. Sorry Ice, because of my reckless we lost Kiba and Kaneko, Ria said in apologetic tone. Issei sighed, it's okay Ria, since I'm here to beat the hell of that chicken anyway. Well, what do we have here? I guess it took you for a while when you beat my 8 promoted pawns, aren't you? Riser said arrogantly. Not really chicken, since after I took out your pawns, I also took down your queen too in the process before I came here. Ria's, Meguri, and Yui were surprised that he's the one who beat you, Baluna. Riser tries to not be surprised, you're the one who beat my queen. That's ridiculous. Oh, trust me Riser, your little sister saw it in her eyes and she's very surprised what I did to your queen. HMP. Even you beat my queen, you're still nothing to me. Riser said arrogantly. Man, I need to finish you quickly since I have a date to be settled when this over. Riser raised his eyebrow. You have a date? How can a lowly devil like you have a date with you anyway? Oh, trust me chicken, I have more charms than you do, since I cared about the girls, well you considered them as a trophy, that's the difference between us. Hey Issei. Yui called him. Yeah, what is it, Yusen? Is it Sona senpai are you going to date with? Yeah, it's Sona is that I'm going to date with. Issei accidentally slipped about his future date with Sona and his face went pale. Well, his thought says beep. 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 Of all the things happen, why now? Because of this Sarah will be mad at me much worse. Serafall yelled at him via transmitter. Isachin, how dare you that you're going to date with Soten without my consent? Then he replies, Erichan, I can explain this later since she promises me that she will go out with me if I beat the hell of that chicken. If you don't believe me, ask her instead. Well, his thought says, well, I can't say that I'm the one who asked her for a date or else my life will be forfeit. Then why you need a motivation, Isachin? Serafall said a bit calmly yet still pissed at him. I can't explain this right now, Serichin, since I'm in the middle of the fight here. HMPH. Fine, tell me the details after this raiding game. Yes, Serichin, I will. Boo, you planning a date with your master? Riser said in amused tone. Yeah, so what? A low-class plebeian like you having a date with your master? You're insane. Riser said in arrogant tone. Oh, shut up, Yakitori. I don't need your opinion since this is my way, treat a lady, Issei said in annoyed tone. DCK. I don't need that thing since the ladies will come for me because of my greatness. Yeah right, your greatness to be the greatest douchebag of the universe. Issei mocked. Riser is fuming in rage, how dare you to insult me like that, you low class. Issei sighed, why does the Phoenix clan has short-tempered tendencies? Don't you dare to insult my clan further, low class. You're a bit late for that. I'm sure that your father is pissed at me right now after he saw what I did on the green-haired twins. What did you do to them? Riser asked. Well, I just end those twins using my mystic art called Raising Phoenix, since I said I made an irony of it. The girls were surprised when Issei said that he used a mystic art against the pawns. Mystic art Ice, I want an explanation for this, Riaz said in an annoyed tone. Issei explained to Riaz what is mystic art, what is capable of. So let me get in straight, Ice, that you're telling me you have a many mystic art at your disposal. Issei nodded. Yep, for now, I have 10 mystic art based on phonic art, which I label my ultimate spells, while on the other type like strike and arcane art, I have many of them, yet I'm still developing a new one until I manage to use it without any problem. I see then why you didn't teach us. Well, Riaz, you and the girls aren't ready for mystic art, yet since it's not very easy as you ever think. Yeah right, Issei-kun, I just discovered recently that you taught Kaneki-chan about mystic art called Akashic Torment. While we're facing the rooks, Yui decided to join their conversation. Riaz was surprised when Yui said that Kaneko learned a mystic art. The AI taught her about mystic art since she's the only one is capable to use it without any issue, Issei explained. But it's still not fair that you teach my rook before me, Ice. Riaz pouted. Well, sorry about that, Riaz, since Kaneki-chan has the potential to use it during our training regime, so I decided to teach her a few things about it. Riaz sighed. I see. Anyway, after this, you're going to teach us when this over? Yeah, if I have free time with you, Riaz, since I plan to teach Sona first. HMPH. I see, I guess you have priorities. Well yeah, I have priorities, Riaz, since Sona is my master, need to learn this first before everyone else. Issei almost slipped up on that for almost saying fiancé, or else he will face the wrath of Serafall. I know, since Sona is your master after all. Yeah, don't worry, Riaz, I will teach you about that, but before that happens you better practice your aiming first. Riaz was about to complain, she noticed that Issei's outfit is different, then she asked. Ice, when did you change your outfit? Oh, this. Yeah, I changed my outfit before I faced the bomb queen anyway. Do I look cool? Issei asked. Riaz nods. Yeah, how about changing your costume now? Sure. Issei changes his outfit into Date Masamune from Sengoku Basara, outfit without the helmet. The difference is the logo on his back is a Sitri clan symbol. Well, I guess this one will do. Riaz liked Issei's outfit. Ice, I never knew you were a fan of Date Masamune of Sengoku Basara. Yeah, he was my favorite character when I played Sengoku Basara because he's a badass. Issei said happily. Indeed, you know what, Ice, you and I have something in common, Riaz said. Like what? Issei asked. Well, on interest. Oh, I see. Riser was utterly pissed for being ignored again. Don't ignore me like I wasn't here. Riser, he used his flames to attack Issei. But Issei dodged Riser's attack. Chill out, chicken, since you want an attention then I will give you one. Issei crossed his hands on his waist like drawing a sword gun, then he said trace on. He traced 6 swords, 3 of them on each side. Now commencing war dance. Issei pulled out 6 lightning element swords at once, 3 swords each hand. HMPH. Do you think you can beat me with those swords? Riser said in arrogant tone. We will see about that when these swords reach you, Hell Dragon. Issei fires a concentrated lightning energy bolt towards to Riser. Riser managed to avoid the attack, then suddenly Issei was next to him. That made him surprised. Take this crazy stream. Issei starts slashing Riser multiple times. During his slash, Riser receives a few shock due to the sword element is lightning. Issei could finish his attack. He decided to end with another move, Magnum Strike. Issei thrusts forward with 3 swords on his hand, then he gives Riser another thrust, but this time he was blown away. Riser grunts when his body hits the ground. Phantom Dive. Issei puts all the 6 swords on his left hand, then slash in a horizontal sweep, then leaps and slams the ground, causing a lightning shock wave that goes forward to Riser. Before Riser could stand up, the shock waves reach him, and he receives a shock due to the lightning element. Riser screamed in pain. Then Issei changes his suit back to normal, then he traces off the swords. You will pay for this, low class. Riser is about to get up. Trace on. Issei summons another weapon. This time is a spear called Brionac, the spear appearance based on Tales of Vesperia. Issei is charging at Riser. Riser stood up and he unleashes his flames at Issei. Issei avoided Riser's attack when he got close to him. Repujin Saoshu Gale Fast Spear Rush. Issei charges the spear with energy before thrusting forward and through Riser, dealing wind elemental damage. Ugh. Riser grunted. Issei follows up with Rakusatauga Frozen Starlight. Issei leaps into the air while performing a flip, then comes crashing into the enemy from above, creating a spiky ice formation on it. Ah. Riser grunted. I guess it's time to use my newest Mystic Art. That Tsubaki will like it. Issei decided to use his Mystic Art based on the spear. Tsubaki-san, check this, my new Mystic Art. Now take this. Issei dashes toward the Riser, sweeping below him with his spear and causing Riser to be lifted off the ground before Issei follows with 2 upward slashes. Ah. Riser grunts in pain. Multiple afterimages of Issei then appear from below as he slashes Riser and brings him upward until one afterimage of Issei makes the final slash, revealing it to be the original Issei. Aujin Satenshu Emperor Blade Blue Heaven Rush. Issei ends the attack with a downward thrust that sends the Riser to the ground. After the attack, Issei traces off his weapon. Stand up, Yakitori, I know you won't be defeated by those attack. Riser stood up, then he's starting to regenerate to heal himself from the damage he took from Issei. I never expect from a low class like you would harm me from those petty abilities of yours. Riser said in arrogant tone. Issei sighed, you still arrogant after you took those attack. I wonder how long you could last against me, since I haven't used my quarter of my power yet. You're surely jesting me, low class, that you haven't used a quarter of your power, since your attack does hurt me a bit, yet getting stronger every hit I receive. I guess you really want to end this quick. Of course, chicken, I need to end this match as fast as possible, since I have a date with her. You won't get your date with your king anytime soon when I beat the hell out of you. I won't be so sure about that, chicken, since I'm totally motivated to win this game and there's no way that I'm going to lose. I won't let that happen since your king is next on my list. Riser smirked. Issei mood went darkened when Riser said about next target. Hey chicken, could you repeat that aloud? I didn't hear it what you said, Issei said in a cold tone. Are you deaf? I said that your master will be next after I'm done with Riaz and her peerage. Do you want to ram her knight too? I didn't know you're into that. Issei said in amused tone. The girls chuckled after Issei said. What heck no. I'm only interested in girls only, damn it. Oh, I see, kidding aside, but I'm sorry Riser Phoenix, I cannot allow you that since you don't have the rights to court, my king. Riser raised his eyebrow. What do you mean that I don't have a right to court her? If you mean her clan tradition, when someone wants to marry from the Sitri clan, you must beat them in a chess match. Oh, that's easy for me to do that since all I need to do is to beat her after that she's mine, then I will ravage her servants, of course, you're not included. Issei chuckled. I can't believe you're into that, but still I don't swing that way since I do swing on the girls only. Oh wait, I'm kinda into older women, I don't mind if she was childish anyway. Issei remembers that Serafall is older yet her behavior is childish. You have a strange taste of women you have there, Riser said. Hey, it's not strange, Yakitori. Since my main interest of a girl wearing glasses with strict personality. Riser knew who is that person he mentioned. So I take it you the reason you like your master because of that. That's the lamest reason you can think of, Yakitori. The truth is I like Sona because of her beauty and nice body. Before you ask about her cup size, I didn't think about it, and those purple eyes too are the main reasons why I love her. Issei admits how he likes Sona. I see, that's the reason why you liked her. Now, you gave me a motivation to ravage your master after I'm done beating you. Riser smirked. Try me, Yakitori. By the way, what if I told you that someone beat her in a chess match? Riser was surprised, then his mood went into a rage. What, who's the miserable cretin who beat the Sitri heiress before me? I wonder who is that person who beat her anyway, Issei said in amused tone. Hey, Issei, you know it's safe to tell that you beat her in a chess match. Meguri is getting annoyed at Riser for insulting her, and especially to her master Sona. What? Riser was shocked when he heard the knight said that pawn he faced that he beat his master in a chess match. You heard her, Yakitori, I beat Sona in a chess match, Issei smirked. That's a lie, there's no way for a low class like you would beat her in a chess match. Riser said in angered tone. As I said, you don't have the rights to court her because she's mine and there's nothing you can do about it. Issei said in serious tone. Well, then I just need to kill you then take her away from you. Riser used his flames to attack Issei again. Issei avoid his attack. As if I let you take my Sona away, you bastard. Then he punched Riser gut. Willaherd, you need to get through me first, Yakitori. Riser stood up. Oh please, even you are stronger than me, low class, I'm still invincible. You invincible? If you are invincible, Yakitori, why you didn't come to help Riaz against Kakabiel? Issei gave Riser a question. Why should I know? Since she didn't inform me about that incident. Lame excuse, Yakitori. If you really want to take Riaz as your future wife, you could have come to the human world and save her without informing it. After I hear this from you, really don't deserve her love and care. Details for all I care since that guy is dead anyway. Oh, you knew he was dead, eh? Did you ever know who killed him? Issei tells Riser a question again. Why I should care about that since that cadre is dead anyway. Yakitori, you know you should care about that since the person who killed the cadre is front of you. What you? Riser is surprised because of Issei told him that he was the one who slew Kakabiel. Well, the girls have grinned about this revelation. Yes, Riser, I'm the one who beat the fallen angel Kakabiel. Issei raised his hand a bit then. Trace on. Issei summons the Dark Excalibur, and this is the weapon I used to slay Kakabiel. If you recognize it, this weapon is the legendary Excalibur, but this sword is copied in short inferior weapon, yet has the traits of the original version and almost the same firepower and its abilities. How's that sword is emitting dark aura? Well, it's simple, Yakitori, thanks to my special trait, I can change the original weapon's attribute either holy or demonic element, so that means I can turn a demonic weapon into a holy weapon. Grrr. I never expect a mere pawn of Sitri with a powerful ability like that. Riser growled. Who said that I'm just mere pawn of Sitri? Yakitori, let me tell you a little secret I'm a shared pawn, so in other words, I serve two masters. Issei smirked. What, you're a shared pawn for who? Riser shouted. Before I tell the juicy details, Issei, look at that sky, he believes there's a camera is watching them. First of all, Lucifer-sama, Griffiason, and especially to Sarachan, I apologized for lying about my status being a pawn of Sitri, but I said is the half-truth of it, since Sona is my one is master. About the second one I will reveal it today, so don't be surprised the moment I say this. Just tell them already, Ice. Riaz said. Since that bastard needs to be feared who you are. Meguri said. Indeed, the chicken needs to be punished. Yui said. Riser is surprised. Riaz, you knew. Of course, Riser, we knew about it since Issei introduced to us before he faced Kakabiel at that time. Riaz smirked. So prepare to get destroyed, Yakitori. Meguri said in amused tone. Issei-kun will crush you like an insect. Yui said. Issei says let me reintroduce myself, Yakitori. My name is Issei Hyoudou, pawn of 16. Pawn of 16. Issei continues his speech. A shared servant of Sona Sitri, and Issei inhales here goes nothing. As his thought says, Serafall Leviathan. Riser was in complete shock due to Issei's status as a servant of the Sitri heiress, and the worst is a servant of Amayu, which is Sitri heiress' older sister, who receives the title of Leviathan after the Devil's Civil War. A shared servant of Sitri and Leviathan, how is that possible? Riser stammered. Well, honestly, I don't know, Yakitori, it seems their pawns has chosen me to become their servant and it was worth it, Issei said. Yet the truth is the dragons told him after they came to this world. He muttered that he wants to be a servant of Sona and Serafall again while he was unconscious. Later on, the pawns came at him. Grrr. I don't care if you're a shared pawn of a Sitri and Leviathan and who slew a cadre, you're still a low-class insect. Riser said in arrogant tone. You still looking down on me, eh? Issei switches his transceiver on to call Serafall Sarachan. What is it, my cute pawn? Serafall said in a childish tone. Issei was surprised of the sudden change of tone of Serafall. His thought said, what in the world just happened? After I just said that her mood changed so quickly. Sarachan, I will explain the details later, but could you allow? Permission granted. Then an announcement came from Grafia. Issei Hyoudou, you have received your permission to use your sacred gear. You can use it without any issue. Thank you, Sarachan. No problem, Issei-chan. Man, I gotta love her childish voice, Issei muttered. He forgot to turn off the transceiver, and Serafall heard it. You like my childish voice, Issei-chan? Issei was surprised that she heard him muttering. Yeah, like I said earlier that I liked older women, even though they childish behavior. Hey, I'm not that childish. Issei chuckled. Sarachan, we can talk about this matter later since I have a chicken to grilled with. Alright, Issei-chan, just give him a hell for disrespect, Soten. Yes, Sarachan. Issei got motivated after she heard her order to beat the hell of Riser, then he turns off the transceiver. Are you done? Riser said in an annoyed tone. Oh yes, I was done chatting with my second master. Now then, let's do this. I can't wait to destroy you, low class. We're going to destroy Riser again. Are you ready, Drag? Albi and Issei talk the dragons via telepathy. We're ready, partner. Just to say word and we will lay waste on that Yakitori. Let's do this, sacred gears. Issei yelled to summon his sacred gear. What sacred gears? He has more than one, Riser thought said. Issei's right hand was materialized into boosted gear while on his back materialized into divine diving. Riser recognized the sacred gears and he was shocked what he sees. What in the hell? You possessed boosted gear and divine dividing, how? Oh, you recognize my sacred gears, Yakitori? Of course I know, since they are 2 of the 13 Longinus type sacred gears. Oh good, I don't need to explain about my sacred gears before you ask how I managed to get this, since Yuchin is a Sekiryuite. Well, that is a secret for now, since a few people were close to me only would know about it, right, Riaz? Riaz nods. Yes, Ice, you're right. Issei get his attention back to Riser. Now then, Riser Phoenix, I shall defeat you in the name of Sona Sitri and Serafall Leviathan, and I will show you the glimpse of my true power. Issei deactivates Divine Dividing for a while. Drake, I'm going to use Cardinal Crimson promotion. Issei contacts Drake via telepathy. Partner, I remind you that we can't keep that form for long, understand? Understood, since that Yakitori needs to know that he shouldn't mess with a dragon. Indeed, partner, now beat that Yakitori again and show him who's superior. Well, that's my plan, to begin with. Issei got his permission, then he began to chant. I, who is about to awaken. Am the Red Dragon Emperor who holds the truth of the king up high. Holding the infinite hopes and unbreakable dreams and walking the path of righteousness. I will become an emperor of Crimson Dragon. And I will lead you to the path of heaven, glowing in the deep crimson light. Cardinal Crimson full drive. Then a light flashed covered on Issei's body. When the light dies out, Issei's scale mail armor turned from red to crimson. I hope you put your guards up, Yakitori, since this form is not a balance breaker, because this is a superior version of Juggernaut Drive. Issei grins. The Mayu saw Issei has arrived to assist Ria's queen Akeno Himejima. Just I expected he really came to assist Ria's queen, Serzicha said with a smile. Yeah, as you said earlier, since he's there, do you think he will fight her alone? Serafall said. Well, it's possible, Serafall, since he's still holding back when he defeated all the pawns single-handedly. The Mayus went back from their viewing until Ubeluna attacked Issei with her magic that results the entire tennis court turned into a giant crater filled was covered in smoke. Serafall. Yes, Serzetchen. Do you think he will beat that easily? I highly doubt that, Serzetchen, since as you said earlier Issachin is still holding back. When the smokes were cleared, they saw Issei standing at middle of the crater, and it didn't make a scratch on him when he told Akeno to fly away and face Ubeluna alone until he said something to her. Now then, use everything you got, Bomb Queen Ubeluna-san, and I tell you what, I will not dodge whatever you throw at me, so consider it as your advantage. The Mayus were surprised that Issei is giving Riser's queen a handicap. This is unexpected. Serzicha said. Indeed, Serafall agreed with him. Then suddenly Issei changed his outfit with a Sitri emblem on back. The Issachin changed his outfit into a warlock from Ragnarok Online. Ah. This is great, Issachin and I have something in common. Serafall said in childish tone. Note. Well, Serafall was into Mahou Shoujo after all, aside from that she likes to cosplay as a magical girl. In cosplay? Serzicha asked. Serafall nods yes. Then Issei and Ubeluna, they have begun using their magic. Ubeluna is taking the first strike, she uses her magic and aimed at Issei again, and he took it directly, yet Issei didn't move as he said earlier, and he's still chanting his spell until he said. Shinsenaru Hikari yo Tsudo, Kono na wo machite waga adanasu tiki wo yud. Assemble blessed light, and in this name lay waste to our foes. Divine Saber. The Mayu saw Issei creates a six-pointed glyph that calls several holy lightning strikes at each corner before summoning a massive holy lightning in the center of the pattern, yet Ubeluna managed to avoid it on time. How Issachin is able to use a holy magic. Is that possible, Serzetchen? Yes, it's possible, Serafall, since Fonacard are completely different from normal spells they used, yet I can't say about the complete details about it since the books about Fonacard and its close relatives such as Strikeard and Arcane Art were gone through the history. I see, but still, since you said that the books were burned or destroyed before the art users were extinct, right? Yes, it happens before the Civil War. The old Mao faction wants to steal those books since they've proven useful and powerful since they have no restrictions. I see they failed to get those books right. Serzicha nods yes, they failed to retrieve those books. If they manage to get those books, I'm sure the Civil War will end a different way. Yay, that's true, Serzetchen. I'm glad it didn't happen since we had such peaceful life in Underworld. I hope this one lasts forever. Serzicha nods. Indeed, speaking of peace, I think we're going to expect have a meeting with the angels and fallen angels anytime soon due to Kakabiel incident. I see, but still I wonder who's slain that crow anyway. Serzicha is rubbing his chin. Yes, I'm curious about that too, also Serafall. Did you ever ask Riashin about it? Serzicha nods yes, I did ask her. She said that they didn't see it. Because it happened too fast, that's what she said to me. Honestly, Serzetchen, I think Riashin is hiding something and she can't say about it. Also, I can guess Soten knew this too. We will find out soon, Serafall. I'm sure that our little sisters will tell us about the truth. Yay, I hope they will tell us the truth, Serzetchen. Then they go back watching the battle until Issei pulls out a book from his dimensional bag and the Serzichas recognize the book's cover writing and symbols behind it that made him surprised. How did he manage to get that book? Do you think that book could be a copy, Serzetchen? Serzicha shook. I highly doubt that. Serafall sighed. I guess we might going to ask him about that book after this, since that book he holds is the real deal. Yay, but the more surprising is Soten is managing to use a high-level Fonacard in 5 days. Is that really easy for them to learn about Fonacard? I think so, since Riot and her queen manages to use a high-level Fonacard in 6 days. Then they go back watch the fight. Yubaluna use her magic against Issei. Unfortunately, it happens the same like her first attack. He didn't block or evade it, he just took the attack like it was nothing until he chants his spells and he says. Aoki Anachi wo Tateshi Haheo, Hayden Shai Seiretsunaru Yubigo wo Ajeo. O mother, praise for her indigo life, break apart and raise thy clear new voice. Aqualaser. When Mayu saw 6 glyphs that surrounds Yubaluna, then the glyphs were blasting a concentrated water blast on her. The Mayus were amazed of the water-based fauna card. If Soten saw this, I'm sure that she will love that fauna card. Indeed, wonder if your little sister learns another fauna card besides water. I think so, Sir Zetchen, since Soten needs to rely on something else aside from water spells, since you know that I learned a basic fire spells, right? Yes, I know that Serafall, since her pawn is a phonist and he's quite a magic expert, I'm sure that he suggested that she must use other spells aside water magic. I hope so, Sir Zetchen. The Mayu sees the queen pull out her phoenix tears from her breast, before that Issei use an ability. Steal. The Mayu surprised that Issei manages to steal the phoenix tears from the distance, and he explains how the skill works. Unbelievable, he manages to steal the tears from a distance. Your little sister's pawn is very interesting, Serafall Serzicha said with a smile. Indeed, it seems that ability requires luck in order to steal the right item, but I wonder if he stole the wrong item. Serafall went curiously. I bet he would have grabbed either her clothes or her underwear. Laugh, that will be the possible choices if he fails to get the tears. Oh, if Issei steals those, Soten will scorn him for that. Indeed, so he needs to be careful when he uses that skill. Then the Mayusi Issei went offensive. He began to chant his fauna card. The Hibukaki Hire night, Suretsu Neru Hitsugi 9 Emir. Slumber in this horrid sepulchre of merciful ice. Frigid coffin. The Mayu saw the icicles surround and trap Yubaluna, then afterward a large ice shard appear in the sky. Before it, the large ice shard falls. Yubaluna creates a barrier to protect herself until she rants about his magic is petty or lame. Then Issei replied. Petty magic? I guess you have a bad experience with ice and water users. Well, it sucks to be you, since this spell is one my favorite, and I'm sure either Griffiason and Sarachan would like to learn this spell, since they are both ice users after all. After Issei said that the ice shard launches itself and aimed at Yubaluna when it's collided or barrier shatters, then the ice shards fell and injuring her in the process. I want that spell since I'm an ice user. Serafall's eyes were glittering because she likes the spell. Serzichas chuckled. Well, he said that he would teach to you since he was giving hints to you and Grafia about that. Really? Serzichas nods yes, Serafall. Then the Mayus heard Issei is going to finish her off with a Mysticard, and he told her that he has 10 Mysticard based on Phonic, while he has many Mysticard based on Strike and Arcane Art. That made the Mayus surprised. Well, this is surprising, I didn't expect he has many Mysticards at his disposal, Serzichas said. Indeed. I wonder how he able to use them without consuming a lot of energy, since we know that Mysticard consumes a lot of energy when they used it. Yes, that is true, Serafall. I wonder how he able to that since he already uses 2 Mysticard today, and we're about to see the third one. The Mayu saw the skies went dark and they saw Issei is floating on the dark background until the scenery changed, appeared to be stained glass windows, shining with bright light. When Issei reached the top and he chanted. Divine judgment for an evil soul, sacred penance. As Issei finished the chant, then he releases a large burst of light in the shape of a cross on his surrounding. Sir Zetchen, is that a holy based Mysticard he used? Yes, Serafall. The scream was heard on Riser's queen. After that she starts to disappear, then an announcement came from Grafia. Her Sursama queen is retired from the game. The Mayus couldn't believe it. Issei used it, and he defeat Riser's queen with a holy-based Mysticard called Sacred Penance. Later on, when Issei decided to move, he suddenly kneeled down, and he mutters about taking those blast head-on and use that Mysticard. Issei tanked those attacks from that queen and use his Mysticard to defeat her, and now he hurts. I don't if Issei is a masochist or something. I highly doubt that Serafall he would have that trait, and besides I doubt he would have a support magic spell to heal himself. Sir Zetchen, you forgot that Issei got the tears. Oh yes, I almost forgot about that. The Mayus expects that Issei is going to use the tears, but he didn't use it. Instead he uses a phonic spell to heal himself. That made them surprised. Well, this is unexpected, Sir Zetchen. Indeed, Serafall, who could have thought that your little sister's pawn is capable to use healing magic for himself instead of using the phoenix tears. Indeed. Until a recent announcement came from Grafia. Ryusama Knight and Rook is retired from the game. The Mayus took a glance at the other video feed. Yuho Ryushin is in trouble. Meanwhile at BIP Harem Sona and her peerage room. Sona and her peerage were surprised that Issei is challenging Yubaluna and giving advantage. Well, I can't believe that Issei will do something stupid right now. Ika said. Indeed, but after he took that blast and he acted like nothing happened. Yura said. I hope Issei-kun knows what he's doing, Momo said. Then their duel was begun and Issei start using his fauna card against Hyoudou. Tsubaki noticed something when she saw Issei use Divine Saber. "Ichu, that fauna card he uses is an altered art, right?" Tsubaki said. Sona nods. "Yes Tsubaki, it is an altered art." The bishops of Sitri were curious when they heard altered art. "Altered art? What is that, Kaichu?" Rhea asked. Sona explains altered arts are modified spells or attacks based on their original arts. For example, the Divine Saber is an altered spell of Blessed Drop. Yeah? He altered a water-based fauna card into a holy lightning-based fauna card. Yes, Kusaka Ice told me altered art is stronger than ordinary phonic, strike, and arcane art when modified, since he's able to show us one of his altered art during the Kakabial incident. Eh? Isakun use an altered art on that incident when? Momo asked. He uses to finish off the psychopath exorcist, Sona said. Explosion. Tsubaki said. Sona nods. Yes Tsubaki. Explosion is an altered art of flame burst. A mid-level fauna card altered into a high-level fauna card. Wow, that's neat. Rhea said. Indeed, who could have thought that fauna card could be altered? Does that mean arcane and strike arts can be altered? Zenobia asked. Sona replied, yes Zenobia, we already have seen that on Rhea's Knight when he used Dragon Tempest against Riser's Knight. I wonder which art he used that move. Tsubaki said. I believe it's from Void Tempest, the stance he uses was the same. Zenobia said. I see, even a base art can be altered. Sona says, yes Tsubaki. Even a base art can be altered into an arcane art, but some of the arts cannot be altered. Eh? Some of them can't be altered. I guess altered arts has limits, Yura said. Indeed, Tsubasa, altered arts has limits, since Ice told me that several arts cannot be altered. I wonder which arts cannot be altered. Zenobia said. Ice told me that an arcane arts that mix two arts into one cannot be altered, like Moonlight Tempest. Note. Issei is teaching her about sword skills, so she able to use it, or sword mastery is average. I see combined arts cannot be altered. Ichu, is there a phonic art cannot be altered? Tsubaki said. Yes, Tsubaki Ice told me that some of the phonic arts are impossible to be altered, some of them are too complicated or dangerous to be altered. I see. After that they watch Issei use a Qualaser on Hyoudou. Sona liked the spell, that spell is interesting. Indeed Kaichu, that fauna card, it's a locked on target that would be useful for us. Tsubaki agreed with her. Then they saw Hyoudou pulls out the Phoenix Tears, then suddenly Issei used steal on her and he succeeds. That was unexpected, he able to steal that tears from the distance. Aika said. Yeah, but for some reason that ability I feel uneasy about it, Rhea said. Then they heard Issei explains how the skill works. I see, when Issei used that skill he can steal the most precious item of the owner, Aika said. And he successfully took the tears, Yura said. Yay, I wonder. If he gets the wrong item, Rhea said. Aika thought about what if Issei stole the wrong item, then she starts laughing, and the girls were curious why she's laughing. What's so funny, Kiryu? Sona said. Yay, why are you laughing, Aika-san? Momo said. Well Kaichu, Mama-chan, I kinda guess it when Issei he gets the wrong item, Aika said. And what you think of if I stole the wrong item? Well, it's pretty simple. Kaichu, his ability is to steal the most precious item of the owner. Well, we saw that Issei steal the tears, so I deduced that if he stole the wrong item he could steal her clothes or her underwear. The girls were surprised at the possible result if Issei steals the wrong item. Sona made a quick decision, well then I should forbid him to use that skill. I agree with you Kaichu, you should forbid him to use that ability. Tsubaki agreed with her. Yeah, right now he took the right one or else he will be labeled as a pervert. Rhea said. I don't want Isakun to be labeled as a pervert. Momo said. But Issei is a pervert, you know, Mama-chan, Aika said. Yeah, we know that Isakun is a pervert, but he's suppressing it. Yeah, because he's doing it for Kaichu. Since he told us that he fell in love on Kaichu's counterpart, that made him suppress his perversions in order to close to her. True, even at this world he's still suppressing it, Tsubaki said. Indeed, and besides we don't want to deal another pervert like those two from your class, Aika-san. Rhea said. Kusaka is right, Kiryu, I don't want to deal with another one, those two are enough, don't you even dare to drag Ice into that path, understand, Sona said in a serious tone. Yes, Kaichu. Then they back watching the battle until Issei used Frigid Coffin on Hyoudou, then Issei finish her off with a Mystic card. Well, that was surprising. Yura said. Yeah, the most surprising is he uses a holy based Mystic card, Rhea said. I wonder if he can teach me that Mystic card he used. Zenobia said. I highly doubt that will happen, Zenobia-san, Tsubaki said. Why is that, Fuku Kaichu? Tsubaki explains, well, you're a knight, Zenobia-san. Since knights are known high speed and mobility fighters, but they have low defense and magic defense, including magic reserves. I see. After Issei used his Mystic card, he kneed down in pain that made the girls worried. Isakun Issei Hyoudou-kun. The girls said in unison. I guess he's going to use the tears he stole, Ika said. They expect to say the tears, but instead used a Fonokart to heal himself. It seems Hyoudou-kun already expected that he would harm himself after using that Mysticard and receiving those attacks from Riser's Queen, Tsubaki said. Yay, but we didn't expect that he would use his Fonokart to heal himself instead of using the tears, Yura said. But I wonder why he uses that Fonokart called Restore. Does that means that Fonokart has better healing than the tears, Ria said. Yes, I think so, Ryasen, since we saw Issei-kun healed himself and he feel good as new, Momo said. Then they heard an announcement from Grafia. Ryo-sama Knight and Rook is retired from the game. Then the saw Issei dashed towards the new building. The main event is about to start, Ika smirked. Back to VIP room Mayu's room. The Mayus is watching the battle between Riaz and Riser, but suddenly Meguri and Yui arrive to assist Riaz, but they provoke Riser for ignoring him, but Meguri and Yui dodge his attack until they call him roasted chicken. When Riser is about to use his flames again at those two, then suddenly Issei came from above. Urisasogu Hikari no Kesu rained down, oh crystals of light cluster raid. After the chant is finished, a crystal orb appears above Riser, then the shooting crystals into the ground within a modest area. When all the crystals are on the ground, they explode. Unfortunately, Riser managed to avoid it. Moo. Issei-chan almost had him, Serafall pouted. Indeed. Issei told Riser that he defeated the pawns and the queens, but Riser didn't believe him, but Issei told him that his little sister saw it, how he beat his queen, yet still boasting that without her queen, he won't be defeated, until Issei said that he wants to end this battle quick because he had a date to settle. I wonder who's the lucky girl he's been planning to date. Surzicha said in amused tone. It better be not Soten or else I will punish him. I would be pleased if it's Ryoten he's going to date with. Until they heard their conversation between Issei and Yui. Hey Issei. Yay, what is it, Yusen? Is it Sona Senpai are you going to date with? Yay, it's Ona is that I'm going to date with. After Serafall heard this, she was fuming in a rage after that he contacted Issei, then he explains to her that he needs a motivation to win this battle, but Issei decided they can talk about this later since he's in the middle of the battle. You seems having fun listening on our conversation, Surzetchen. Serafall scowled. More than you ever imagined, Serafall, Surzicha said in amused tone. Moo. You're horrible, Surzetchen. Serafall pouted. Skipping the bickering scene and missed a card explanation. Until Issei changed his outfit, then Riser starts attacking him for ignoring him, then Issei pull out 6 swords at once. He can pull 6 swords at once, I never expect this coming. Surzicha said. Yeah, right, what's so good about he can use 6 swords at once? Serafall said in an annoyed tone. Oh come on, Serafall, give him a credit for that. I know that you're mad at him because your little sister promised him a date if he wins this rating game. Don't remind me, Surzetchen. Then they watch Issei unleash his attack on Riser from Hell Dragon to Phantom Dive. After that he trace off the swords, then he traces another weapon and it's a spear, then he charged at Riser again, he attack him mercilessly until. Tsubaki-san, check this out, my new Mista card. Now take this. Then the Mayu saw Issei dashes toward the Riser, sweeping below him with his spear and causing Riser to be lifted off the ground before Issei follows with 2 upward slashes. Then they saw multiple afterimages of Issei then appear from below as he slashes Riser and brings him upward until one afterimage of Issei makes the final slash, revealing it to be the original Issei. Aujin Satenshu Emperor Blade Blue Heaven Rush. Issei ends the attack with a downward thrust that sends the Riser to the ground. After that, he traces off the weapon and he tells Riser to stand up. So he knew he won't go down that easily. Well, his opponent is a phoenix after all, Serafall said in a cold tone. Indeed, I wonder how's he going to finish him off. Then they start bickering again until Riser said something that made Serafall pissed. I won't let that happen since your king is next on my list. That bastard. Serafall hissed. Until Serafall hears Issei told Riser that he has no rights to court her. Yeah, you told him, Issei-chan, that bastard has no rights to court Soten. Surzicha's watching Serafall amusingly do her mood suddenly changed. Until Issei said something that made it more interesting. Oh wait, I'm kinda into older women, I don't mind if she was childish anyway. Serafall was flustered when she heard this. Is he talking about me? Serafall said thoughts. Well, this is surprising, I never knew he's into that. Aside from that, I wonder who is that person has that kind of personality. Surzicha said in amused tone. Serafall decided to ignore it. If she answers it, she will get teased by Surzicha's. Then the Mayus heard about Issei's main interest of girl he likes in his confession. My main interest of a girl wearing glasses with strict personality. That description definitely fits for Soten. Indeed, since he's fallen in love with your little sister Serafall, so give him a chance, I'm sure he's the better choice than those pigs who tries to get her hand marriage. Serafall sighed. True, but still, I can't put my trust on him since he's still hiding something from us, and that's the thing I want to know. Well, I can't blame you for that since he's hiding something from us. Serziches said. Then they heard about why Issei like about Sona. The truth is I like Sona because of her beauty and nice body. Before you ask about her cup size, I didn't think about it, and those purple eyes too are the main reasons why I love her. Serziches chuckled. Really a nice body? Oh, come on Issei-kun, that description would be fit for Leviathan. Serafall smacked him. Serzichen, I hope you better stop insulting Sotan's body or else I will castrate you. She said in a childish tone. That made Serziches shivered a bit. Okay, I stop. Issei said something that made the Mayu surprised. What if I told you that someone beat her in a chess match? Someone beat Sotan in a chess match. Serafall trembled when she heard this. Well, this surprising Serafall, I wonder who is that person who beat her in a chess match. If it's one of the pigs who beat her, I will destroy that guy. Serafall said in angered tone. Calm down Serafall, you should respect your clan traditions. I can't calm down Serzichen since Sotan's future will be a mess if one of those pigs who beat her in a chess match. Until Meguri said a piece of it regarding the chess match. Hey, Issei, you know it's safe to tell that you beat her in a chess match. Serafall was surprised. Issei beat Sotan. You heard her Yakitori, I beat Sona in a chess match. Serziches grinned. I guess my instinct was right after all. What do you mean Serzichen? Well Serafall, it's easy to notice that he used that in the name of my beloved master Sona Sitri, part of his chant on his Mysticard and the recent confession. As I said, you don't have the rights to court her because she's mine and there's nothing you can do about it. And that also. Serziches added. They go back watching the match. As if I let you take my Sona away, you bastard. Also that too, Serziches smirked. You need to get through me first, Yakitori. Serafall frowned. You win Serzichen, I guess you're right that he's the best choice for Sotan. I guess he will have your blessing. Not yet, Issei will get my blessing when he spills about his secrets. Until the Mayus. Issei said something about Kakabiel that made them curious. The Mayus expected that Riser will try to make an excuse for it, and he did until he asked Riser about if he knows who killed the cadre. Serafall, I guess our questions about who slew Kakabiel will be revealed any moment now. I wonder who killed that crow. I really want to thank him or her for saving Sotan and Ryushin. Serafall was getting excited to know. Hey, I wanted to thank that person too Serafall since our little sisters are safe. Yakitori, you know you should care about that since the person who killed the cadre is front of you. The Mayus were surprised that Issei admitted that he's the one who slew Kakabiel. What, you? Yes, Riser, I'm the one who beat the fallen angel Kakabiel. Issei slew that crow. I guess this is one of his secrets has been out. Serziches grinned after Issei admitted that he beat Kakabiel. But how did he manage to defeat him? Then they saw Issei trace a weapon and they both shocked what they see. The true Excalibur, but how is that possible? Serziches went pale when he saw the sword. Issei can trace a holy sword. I believe so since projection is a special magecraft and he said that the weapon is inferior, in other words, it's a replica yet has the same abilities and firepower, but I noticed the aura of the sword is dark. How he able to do that? Then Issei explains. Thanks to my special trait I can change the original weapon's attribute either holy or demonic element, so that means I can turn a demonic weapon into a holy weapon. The Mayus was shocked about his special traits on his projection. I never knew there's such a trait can change the original weapon attribute. Now that explains everything, how he beat Kakabiel with an ease. Indeed Serzichen, I'm so glad that Issei is our side. Then Riser argued with him for being a mere pawn of Sitri. Then Issei tells another secret. Who said that I'm just mere pawn of Sitri? Yakitori, let me tell you a little secret I had, that I'm a shared pawn, so in other words, I serve two masters. The Mayus was surprised again by this revelation. A shared servant. That means Issei has another master besides from Sotan. Serafall stammered. This is surprising, a shared servant, but I wonder who is the second master, since we aware that your little sister is your master. Serziches went curiously about this revelation. Then Issei looked at their screen and he said. First of all, Lucifer-sama, Graphiasin, and especially to Serichin, I apologize for lying about my status being a pawn of Sitri, but I said is the half-truth of it, since Sona is my one is master. Sotan is one of his master, and why he apologized to me, especially what does supposed to mean. Serafall is confused. Serziches noticed why he apologized to her, especially I see he's giving us hints that who's his second master. As his thought says he will reveal it. Serafall, since he's been spilling his secrets to us now, I guess I should accept his apology for lying us. Indeed, I will totally give my blessing him about his relationship with Sotan when he revealed the name of his second master. Then Issei introduced himself. Let me reintroduce myself, Yakitori. My name is Issei Hyoudou, pawn of 16. The Mayus were surprised about his. He consumed 16 pawns. By the way, Serafall, you said that you and your little sister's pawn pieces were gone 2 months ago, right? Serziches asked. Serafall nods yes. Why do you ask, Serzichen? I believe that your search on the missing pawn is over. What do you mean, Sir Zetchen? Serafall, think about it. How did your little sister know that's her servant? Well, in order to know her servant it should be linked with her. Yes, that is true, but tell me, Serafall, did you feel something when we met him? Sir Zetchen asked, and he needs to confirm his suspicion. Serafall nods. Yes, when we met him, for some reason my link has been. She suddenly stopped when she just realized what she said. Just I suspected. Sir Zetchen said in thoughts. Then Issei reveals the name of his masters. A shared servant of Sona Sitri and Serafall, Leviathan. Issei is our shared pawn with Soten. Serafall stammer. Well, it seems your pawn wanted to surprise you, Serafall. Sir Zetchen grins. It does surprise me, Sir Zetchen moo. Issei, I will forgive him for now. Serafall pouted. So that means, are you going to give your full support his relationship with your little sister? Serafall smiled. Yes, he has my support, but he needs to earn my trust first. Sir Zetchen chuckled. I'm sure he will do that, but who knows, he might capture your heart next, since he's managed to capture your little sister's heart. If he does that, he's welcome to try me. Then Issei contacts Serafall via transmitter. Serachin. What is it, my cute pawn? Serafall said in a childish tone. Serachin, I will explain the details later, but could you allow? Permission granted. Then an announcement came from Graphia. Issei Hyoudou, you have received your permission to use your sacred gear. You can use it without any issue. Thank you, Serachin. No problem, Issei. Man, I gotta love her childish voice. You like my childish voice, Issei? Serafall flustered when she heard him muttering. Yeah, like I said earlier that I liked older women, even though they childish behavior. Hey, I'm not that childish. Serafall pouted while her cheeks turned red. Serachin, we can talk about this matter later since I have a chicken to grilled with. Alright, Issei, just give him a hell for disrespect, Soten. Yes, Serachin. Well, that was surprising he managed to get you off guard, Sir Zetchen said amusingly. Yeah, Issei got me off guard. I wonder what sacred gear he has. Sir Zetchen was curious. Now you mention it, what sacred gear did he have, since he forbid himself to use it from the beginning? Then Issei shouted to call his sacred gears. Let's do this, sacred gears. The Mayus was surprised when he said sacred gears. The Issei has more than one sacred gear. Then saw Issei's right hand materialized a red gauntlet while at his back materialized a pair of white dragon wings with 8 energy feathers. The Mayus recognized the sacred gears that make them shocked. Issei has the boosted gear and divine dividing. How? I want to know that too, Serafall, since Ryotan's pawn is the Sekiryute. Until they heard Issei says that he would tell only for those people were close to him. I guess we have to ask Issei about that later. But do you think he will tell us everything? Yes, Sir Zetchen, since it's Issei, is my shared servant with Soten after all. Point taken. They go back watching the fight until Issei said. Now then, Riser Phoenix, I shall defeat you in the name of Sona Sitri and Serafall Leviathan, and I will show you the glimpse of my true power. The Mayus were surprised that he deactivated his divine dividing. Issei turned off his divine dividing. What is he going to do? Then Issei starts chanting. When they heard it, the Mayus were surprised. Issei is going to use boosted gear forbidden move, the Juggernaut drive. It seems so, Serafall, but I wonder why he decided to use it on him. But that move will lose their sanity, including their life force. I know that, Serafall, but he didn't hesitate to use it. That means he manages to surpass the negative side of the Juggernaut drive. After Issei completed his chant, his sacred gear announced. Cardinal Crimson full drive. The light flashed covers Issei. Then after the light dies out, the Mayus was out of Issei new form, his scale mail color changed from red to crimson. Then Issei said. I hope you put your guards up, Yakitori, since this form is not a balance breaker, because this is a superior version of Juggernaut drive. I like. Where is this going, Serafall? Sir Zetchen grinned. I know, Sir Zetchen, this battle is over and Ryushin engagement will be cancelled. Meanwhile at VIP, Harem Sona and her peerage room decided to skip, so I decided to get this straight on the current situation and will be used on Ika teasing material later on. Sona and her peerage were amazed on Issei's new form. Issei-kun new form looks so cool. Momo said. Aichu, did you know this? Tsubaki asked. Sona nods. Yes, Ice showed to me that form 2 weeks ago. What does the form do, Kaichu? Rya asked. That form incorporates to use all evil pieces traits. The the girl said in unison. Incorporates to use all evil pieces trait. Does that mean Issei-kun is able to promote himself without your consent? Momo said. Sona nods. Yes. Wait, if he uses those forms he will be disqualified since he said that he will not use promotion on this rating game, Yura said. That is true, Tsubasa, but I said to me that he can use those forms without the promotion and he called it empty. Sona said. I see, he used those forms without the traits of the evil pieces, Kaichu. Tsubaki said. Yes, Tsubaki, he can use those forms without the boost from evil pieces. Without the boost of the evil piece traits they like an empty shell on those forms, right? Aika said. Sona nods. Yes, Kiryu, even they are an empty form and he can still use them to its full potential. I see, but Kaichu, those forms has weaknesses, right? Ria asked. Yes, Kusaka, they have a weakness like the rest of the evil pieces. I see. Does that mean Isakun doesn't get the weakness on those empty forms? Sona shook her head. No, they still have weaknesses even they are in the empty form. I see, those empty forms, they still have a weakness that will give him disadvantage, Zenobia said. Now back to Issei. Riser saw Issei's new form and he found it nothing special or fancy about it. So is that your balance breaker? Honestly, I was expecting more grand that. Riser said arrogantly. You're not surprised of this form? Issei was surprised that Riser didn't surprise on his new form. Of course not. But Yakitori, this is not a balance brie. Riser interjects him. For hell, I care if it's a balance breaker or not, you're still nothing to me. Oh, pretty confident, eh? Alright then, let's do this. Issei smirked. Bring it, low class. Riser said. Very well then, you will see the power of my false queen and my 3 empty forms. Riser went curiously on what he said. False queen? Empty forms? What is that supposed to mean? They are my blank forms since I forbid myself to use promotion, so I can't use the true version of my forms, so right now the form I use is the false queen, Issei explained. I see, that form you could have the power of the queen, but since you called it false queen, that means your armor has no special traits. Yes, Yakitori, since it's a false form, this only an ordinary armor, yet I can access their special ability. I see. Very well then, let's get this over with. Riser increases power again. He knows that this won't gonna be easy for him. Ha! Issei charged forward at Riser. When Issei was close to him. Empty solid impact booster. Issei shouted to change his form. Then Issei's arms changed into a large fist. Boost. 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 Take the stone dragon ascent. Issei gathers energy in their fist before performing an uppercut. The uppercut causes a mini quake with rising rocks at his surroundings. Ah. Riser was sent flying when he took the blow. Then suddenly Issei flies up when he reached Riser. Boost. 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 Beat this solid impact. Issei used the special ability of solid impact booster. He puts all his strength and slam it at Riser's chest that sent him immediately to the ground. Wah. Riser grunts in pain. Empty star sonic booster. Issei shouts to change his form, then suddenly he felt the armor pieces are starting to be detached, so then the next thing he said. Passed off. The excess of the armor piece wore off. After that his armor morphs into a more aerodynamic form. Passed off. Change Dragon Knight. Drake said in monotone. Really, Drake? Dragon Knight? Issei was surprised of the sudden Drake's monotone. Yes, partner, at least it's better than you used earlier, that sockle dragonfly. Indeed, it's better than that insect dragonfly PFFT. Why they called it a dragonfly anyway? Issei sighed. I can't believe you two were arguing over that thing. Riser managed stands up after he took a beating. Damn you, low class, I make you pay tenfold. Issei smirked. Heh. Bring it on, Yakitori, do your worse. Then Issei raised his hand bit. Then. Trace on. Issei traced a sword. The sword he used is Maestro sword, Ash default sword from Tales of the Abyss. Brah. Riser fires a wave of fire. Think of Ace's Heiken from One Piece. Issei manages to dodge Riser's attack due to his form. His movement was better after he removes the excess armor piece. Then Issei managed to reach him. He starts slashing him until. I'll crush you, rending quake. Issei thrusts forward with his sword, followed by an earth-shattering punch. Riser grunts. Now take this. Issei tosses Riser into the air with a flurry of light rays. Break and scatter. Rending saber. Issei slams his sword into the ground, causing a phonic glyph to appear beneath him and more energy to rise up and damaging Riser in the process. Riser's grunts in pain due to Issei's Mysticard. After Issei used the Mysticard, he immediately changed his form and he shouts. Empty Fang Blast Booster. The twin cannon appears at Issei's shoulders, then Issei starting concentrate his boost. 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 Now take this. Crimson Blaster. Issei fires the cannons at Riser. Riser is about to stand up and he saw the beams are about to reach him. Oh, Fuaya. Riser screamed in pain when he took the blast. Issei reverts back to false queen form. I'm not done yet, Yakitori. Issei opens a panel of his scale mail and it appears to be a cannon on his chest. Boost. 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 Eat this. Issei shouted. Long-Ina Smasher. Issei fires the blast. Riser was about to stand up, then a blast was coming and it went bypass through him. Then a loud explosion was heard. When the smokes were gone, the blast site was turned into a barren wasteland. Riser looked behind. He was devastated. The destruction he saw. What in the hell? Consider yourself lucky, Yakitori. I really intended miss that attack. Since that blast, I might accidentally kill you, since only a Mayu class or higher than that would survive that blast. After all, Long-Ina Smasher is a forbidden attack. After Issei said that, he reverts back to normal while his thought says way to go, waste of that forbidden attack. Oh well, it's not like I'm going to use this in any time soon. Riser was in state of shock after Issei explained to him, then he clenched his fist very firm. He's never been humiliated before and that he lost his cool. Drrrrrrrr. Damn it all. Riser used his flames and charged at Issei. Rias noticed that Riser lost his cool after Issei explained to him. It's over, Rias smiled. Indeed, Ria-senpai, I guess Issei broke him after he fired that blast, Meguri said. Yeah, look at him, he lost his composure after he used that, Yui said. Indeed. Meguri replied. Riser got frustrated and he said. Damn it. Do you even know what you are doing? This engagement is important and necessary for the future of devils. It's not something a devil brat like you can butt into. I don't care about the future of the devils, Yakitori, since I ain't a fan of arranged marriage anyway. Issei said in an annoyed tone. Riser raised his eyebrow. And do you think that I care about that? Of course you won't, since I have 2 reasons to beat the shit out of you. And what is that? One is you treat the girls were objects. That's the reason why Rias doesn't like to marry you, and it will never be, since I suddenly have an interest in having a busty redeed as one my future wife. Issei smirked. When Riser heard this, he was fuming in rage. You have some nerve to steal Rias from me, low class. While Rias was blushing when Issei said that, while the Yui and Meguri have giggled. She has never been yours to be with, Yakitori. You have no rights to say that, and my second reason is you have the nerve to say you will aim my Sona next in front of me, Yakitori. Issei looked at Riser sternly. And now you're going to pay the price for what you did. Then Issei raised his hand and he starts chanting to summon his Neo-Durandal. Saint Peter. Saint Basil the Great. Saint Denis. Holy Mother Mary. Please hear my voice. By the names of the saints who reside within this blade, I will release it. Neo-Durandal. As Issei finished his chant. Issei pulls the sword from the another dimension. He can't hide that sword at his personal dimensional bag, so he put it somewhere else safe. So Yakitori, are you ready to taste of my Neo-Durandal? Issei smirked. Riser felt uneasy when he saw the holy sword. Issei saw an opening. He gives Meguri the signal to attack him. Now Meguri-san. Issei shouted. Riser was surprised when he saw Meguri suddenly appears from behind. Burn save. Meguri's 10 commandments changed form into an emerald long sword with a wave-like indent along the edge of the blade, then she slashed Riser from behind. Riser knew that he was attacked from behind, but he doesn't feel the pain at all. He feels like her attack went through him. Is it done, Meguri-san? Issei said. She nods. Yep, it's done, Issei. Meguri smirked. Issei smiled, then he looked at Riser and he says, Yakitori, it seems we managed to seal your magic and that silly regeneration of yours for a day. That means you can't use your flames and heal yourself for a while. Riser was surprised on what Issei said. Before Riser can speak, Issei interjects him immediately. Before you ask something, Yakitori. I just told her to attack you from behind to seal your powers. Issei explained. What ho? Meguri interjects him. Yay, before you ask how I able to that. Well, I use one of the 10 commandments forms called Rune Save the Sealing Sword. It has the ability to cut non-physical forms like magic, and it has capable to seal someone's magic like I did to you after I hit you from behind. Riser tries to produce his flames, but he failed to use it due to his magic was sealed. Damn it. This cannot be happening. I cannot be lost. I'm immortal. Riser feels frustrated that he can't use his flames. Immortal. Let me tell you this, Yakitori, there is no such thing an immortal on this world, since we're devils have a long lifespan and that almost live in eternity, but we're still going die in the end. Issei said in a calm tone. Shut up, low class, don't talk that you knew about us devils very well. Riser growled. Issei is annoyed and he said, you know what, Yakitori, we're going to end this. Issei puts himself on battle stance, then he looks at the girls. Rias, Meguri-san, Yusan, let's do this. Yes. The girls said in unison, and they put their battle stance. Issei looked at Rias and he says, Rias, you what to do? Rias nods right. Then starts to concentrate her demonic powers. Then Issei looks at Meguri and Yui and he says, Meguri-san, Yusan, you know what to do. Meguri grinned. Roger. Yui nods, then she puts her left arm at her chest. Alright, let's do this. Promotion Rook. Yui promotes herself into a Rook that gives her a strength and defensive boost since they are in the enemy's base. Let's go. Meguri said gleefully. Yui nods right. Then the girls charge towards to Riser and Meguri made the first move when they reach him. Sword Rain Phantom. Meguri attacks Riser with multiple sword thrusts and then follows up with a spinning slash. Ah! Riser grunts. Then Yui follows up the attack. Hyrangen Ryukin. Yui attacks Riser with a quick punch and a barrage of flipping kicks and it ends with a blazing kick. After Yui finished her attack then Meguri strikes him again. Sword Rain Tempest. Meguri stabs Riser multiple times then follows a vertically spin slash in the air. Wah! Riser grunts in pain. After the attack then Yui attacks with Beast. Yui slams Riser with extreme force, creating a blast of energy in the image of a lion's head and Riser blasted away and knocked to the ground. Ugh. Riser was knocked down. Issei took the opportunity when he saw Riser is knocked down. Alright, my turn. Issei charged toward at Riser. Then when Issei reached Riser and he uses his sword-based arts at him. Rending thrust. Issei thrust his attack to Riser then follows up with an uppercut. Slag assault. Issei leaps into the air, slamming his blade into the ground as he lands to launch a large wave of rocks at Riser. Riser grunts in pain. Shatter. Devil's Maw. Issei smashed his sword into the ground to create a small fissure, which releases an upward burst of flame. Water, rise up. Divine Wolf Flood. Issei punches the ground to prepare a circle of water, then he thrusts his weapon into the earth, forcing upward a liquid geyser. Feel the roar of lightning. Lightning Tiger Blade. Issei slashes upward and jumps high into the air, summoning a large bolt of lightning to deal several hits at Riser. Riser receives a shock from Lightning Tiger Blade since he got wet due to his previous art Issei used. Sworn Rain Demon. Issei attacks with a barrage of thrusts and then ends by shooting a bolt of energy along the ground. Shadow Shock. Issei jumps backward, then dashes forward with a single horizontal slash that hits Riser multiple times. The Blinding Edge. Light Blast. Issei tosses Riser into the air immediately with a small spin, followed by a short series of thrusts that create the effect of a spiral of light, pushing him back without knocking it down with the final strike. Jaya. Riser screamed in pain after he took 8 consecutive sword skills from Issei. Then Issei used his divine dividing to fly back and make a distance. Riaz now. Issei gives Riaz a signal. Riaz nods then she blasts off the power of destruction at Riser with all her magical reserves. Issei is concentrating to boost that enough to finish Riser off this rating game. Boost. 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 Issei had enough boost then he said explosion. Explosion. Issei releases the boosted gear's stored power, then the next thing he did is Dragon Shot. Issei fires a red draconic energy towards to Riser. Riser tries to avoid the upcoming shots towards to him, but he couldn't due to his injuries he received by Issei's sword skills. Then the two shots have collided at Riser and a violent sound of explosion was heard. Checkmate. Issei and Riaz said in unison. And then an announcement came from Grafia. Ursa-sama has retired. The king has been defeated. Riaz-sama's victory. Issei and the girls were happy that they won especially to Riaz because her marriage with Riser is cancelled. It seems we missed a very important scene. Akeno has arrived along with Asia and Ravel. Anai-sama has been defeated. Ravel couldn't believe that her brother was defeated. Then Issei saw Asia and Akeno he felt relieved those two were alright when he fired the Longina smasher earlier. Hey Issei. Meguri calls him. Issei looks at her. What is it Meguri-san? A job. Meguri gestures him a thumbs up. Issei did the same to you Meguri-san. Then he smiled. Then Riaz approached Issei and hugs him from behind, that made the girls surprised. Ice thank you. No problem it wasn't that much Riaz. Issei smiles. Then Riaz attempt to kiss Issei before their lips could reach Issei push her away gently and he shook. Riaz I know that I just freed you from your recent commitment on Yakitori but doesn't mean that I'm going to allow to steal my first kiss. Your first kiss? Ice I'm sure you have been kissed someone before you came here right? Riaz asked. Issei scratched his cheek well that's true as Riaz, but I really want to take my first kiss from her before everyone else, if you know what I mean. His cheeks turned red. Riaz giggled I see. Meguri was surprised on this matter. Issei you haven't kissed by someone are you for real? Issei nods yes ever since I came here. Meguri realized what he said oh by the way Issei. What is it? Meguri whispers him did Kaichu's counterpart kissed you before? Issei nods yes I got a lot of it and the rest of the girls. Even my counterpart? Yes Issei look away from her. I see we better get home I'm sure Kaichu and the others are waiting for us Meguri decided to change the topic. Right. Asia, we're going home. Yes, Issei-san. Asia said happily. Rias, Akeno, and Yui already left the field before Issei, Meguri and Asia was about to leave. Wait. Ravel stopped them from leaving. Issei looked at her. What is it, Ravelchan? Ravel cheeks turned red when he called her that. How did you manage to get those books about phonic arts? Oh, those books. Well, honestly, don't be surprised that I bought those books at a cheap price when I was a little kid. Issei told Ravel with honesty. He actually did buy those books while he was adapting his projection at his old world. Issei was curious those books and he buy it without second thought. Later on, he finds out the books he brought is a manual of basic phonic arts, then he looks the rest of the books he accidentally owned the books of basic strike art, basic arcane art, advanced strike art, advanced arcane art, advanced phonic arts, altered arts and mystic art manuals. Then later on he starts to learn little by little until he got everything that does he learned from the book he owns and he manages deciphered on the almost all of the mystic arts. The girls were surprised when he said that he accidentally buy the books of arts. I see, but seriously, why that person is dumb enough to sell those very important books, Ravel said. Yeah, it seems that guy desperate in money, right, Issei? Meguri agreed with her. Yes, you're right, Meguri-san, since I managed to get those books without knowing it. Later on, I found out those books were very special, so I decided to keep it. I see. Meguri nodded for understanding. I guess I should leave. Thanks for your time. Ravel decided to end this topic. No problem, Ravelchan. Issei smiled. Ravel turned back. Wait. Ravelchan. Issei stopped her from leaving. What? Honestly, Ravelchan, I was expecting that you will be mad at me after we beat the crap of your brother. Ravel closed her eyes and she says I don't mind it, since he had always relied on his talent and got beepy because of it, it should have been a good lesson for him. Issei chuckled. You're pretty merciless, Ravelchan. Well, he deserves it. Ravel huffed. I see. Issei decided to change the subject anyway. Ravelchan, tell your brother that he can forget our deal, since I don't want to force you to leave from your brother's peerage unless you made your own choice, that is all. Then Issei and the others have left the field. Ravel smiles. I never expect. He's very nice to cancel that deal they made. Then Ravel has left the field. At the Harem Sona and her peerage room. The girls were pleased with Ria's victory. I never expected Issei-kun used the holy sword at the end, Momo said. Indeed, that was very surprising, especially the combination attack to finish off they used to end that guy. Ria said. Yeah, their combination attack was perfect. Yura said. True, but we never expect that Meguri-san uses the sword fourth form before they did that combination attack. Momo said. Indeed, that form is very frightening. It has capable to seal someone's magic for a day. Yeah, but I wonder how Issei managed to create such a complicated weapon. Aika was curious how he made that sword. Well, we don't know what he's thinking how he made that, Ria said. Indeed, after all, Hyoudou-kun is a genius in his own ways, Tsubaki said. True, I'm surprised that Ice managed to adapt Ria's peerage to do such a combination attack. I guess we should make our own soon, Sona said. Yeah, also Meguri-san did a good job also. Zenobia said. I will praise them for their first performance, especially to Tomo. You should have Kaichu, but don't forget praise Issei too, since he beat the hell of that guy when that guy said he's going to aim at you, Aika said. Yeah, since Issei-kun said you have some nerve to steal my Sona in front me. Momo teased. Sona flustered when she heard his reasons why he needs to beat the hell of Riser. And besides Kaichu, you promised him a date since he won the rating game, Aika added. Sona remembers the deal she made with Issei if he wins the game and date with him. I never expected Hyoudou-kun would have a sudden interest on Ria's, Tsubaki said. Yeah, since he said that he has a sudden having a busty Ritid as his one of his future wife, Aika said. Since Issei-kun said Ria-senpai is going to be one of his wives, that means Kaichu is taking the main wife, right? Ria said. Momo nods. Yeah, Kaichu is the main wife as we expected since Issei-kun told us that he has two main girls. And who's the second main girl? Zenobia asked. Harem Sona Serafall Leviathan, one of the Mayus in the underworld. At the Harem Mayu's room. The Mayus were pleased the results of the rating game. I never thought that they would use a combination attack to beat him. Serafall nods. Yay, and that surprises me as they managed to seal his powers temporarily before they perform their combination attack. Yay, your little sister's knight used the fourth form of the 10 commandments, the sealing sword rune save. It has the ability to cut magic and seal someone's magic, yet the drawback is it can't cut objects and living things. Yes, that form is very effective against who relied too much on their magic. Indeed, I'm quite very surprised that Issei-chan made a complicated artificial sacred gear at his disposal. Well, Issei-chan cute pawn after all. Then the Mayus left the room using their magic circle. At Sitri's residence. Issei and the others went back after Ria's made a victory party at the Orc Clubroom. Finally it's over. Issei sits on the sofa. Our first battle went well, Meguri said. Indeed, your performance is good at your first rating game, Meguri, Tsubaki said. Yeah, thanks to Issei training regime I managed to adapt my artificial sacred gear before the game. Well, that is true, Meguri-san, but I'm surprised that you managed to use 5 of the 10 forms of the 10 commandments after 10 days. Honestly, in my case, it will take me a month to use half of the 10 forms freely, Issei said as complimented Meguri. Meguri was surprised. Really? Yeah, since you're a fast learner. Issei smiled. Geez, thanks, Issei. You two seems has the energy to complement each other. That means you two have the energy to catch up on your notes right away, since you two have been absent in 10 days, Sona said in calm tone. But Sona, can we do those notes tomorrow since we're tired after the rating game? Issei whined. He's right, Kaichu, let us rest for this day, since we did our best to win that battle, Meguri said. Please, Sona. Issei begged. Sona sighed. Fine, I suppose that you two deserves a rest for today, since you two fought hard your first rating game. By the way, Issei, why did you intentionally miss that second blast you used? Meguri asked. Oh, that. Yes, that blast would kill him if I didn't do that, Issei said calmly. Yeah? That blast would kill him if you hit him. Issei nods. Yes, even the system of the rating game won't save him, since that blast can take down a Mao class if I caught them off guard. You can't be serious about that, Issei, Aika said. I'm serious, Aika, after all, I'm still holding back when I fired that shot, Issei said. Zenobia decided to speak up. By the way, Ice. What is it, Zenobia? Issei asked. Did you hold back while you strike him with the Neodorandal? Issei nods. Yes, Zenobia, I did hold back at my lowest setting when I strike the Yakitori. I see how powerful that sword when you use it at full power. I haven't tried it since when I use it I keep my power at low, since I might accidentally hurt nearby allies when I swing this sword, unless I'm alone I might do that. I see, I will expect I could learn more from your sword skills. Zenobia smiled. Oh, trust me, Zenobia, you will learn more from, since I have my sword skills that fit you as a power type. After that, everyone went to their rooms and get rest. 30 minutes later, location Issei's room. Issei couldn't sleep, so he decided to read a book for a while until someone knocks the door. Come in. The door was open and he saw Sona. You couldn't sleep? Issei asked. Sona nods. I guess you too. Yeah. So what brings you here, Sona? Well, about that deal we made. Issei realized what's the topic. Oh, that, Sona, I will not force you if you don't want to go on a date with me. Who said I don't want to? Sona said in a serious tone, then she looks at Issei. Ice, tell me honestly, do you mean that what you on the rating game? She asked. About what? Suddenly Sona cheeks turned red. That you really liked me. Of course I like you, Sona. Do you think I would replace you, like a toy? I ain't that kind of a person, Sona. I know, but tell me something, Ice. What is it? Are you a still virgin? After Sona said that her face turned red. Issei weakly nods. Yes. I see. Sona looked at him again and she says, Meguri told me that you haven't kissed anyone when you came to this world, right? Issei nods. Yes, I did say that. And she told that you want to get your first kiss from the girl you like from this world. Issei cheeks turned red. Yeah, I did say that. Why do ask? Then suddenly Sona put her hands around his neck and put her lips on top of Issei, and it's not something that happened in an instant. The kiss. My first kiss. It's something a girl important to treasure, right? Sona said it while her cheeks are still in red. Issei nods. Yes, it certainly is. How, your first kiss? He was surprised that he got Sona's first kiss. She weakly nods. Yes, Ice. Are you okay with it? Issei said nervously. Of course, since you're my Ice after all, Sona smiled while her cheeks are red. After that, they went to sleep together in his room. Nothing happened there, trust me, since I'm the author here. End of the here. So that's it for today's video, guys. Before you go, just like the video and share it with your friends. Bye.